Hello everyone. Today's topic of tutorial is anti-glaucoma drugs. Before going to the drugs, we should revise the definition and aqueous dynamics of glaucoma. So glaucoma refers to the group of diseases that is characterized by three components. First is optic neuropathy, and second is specific pattern of visual field defect, and third is raised eye. So these three parameters are important in glaucoma definitions. So for maintaining of the intraocular pressure, aqueous humor is most important thing. So we should know the dynamics of the aqueous humors. First is secretion of the aqueous humor, which is done from the ciliary body, that is in the posterior chamber, and drainage is done in the anterior chamber. 90% is from the trabecular measure and 10% from the UV scleral outflow. This diagram you can see the aqueous humor dynamics, that is it is secreted from the ciliary body, which is located near the posterior chamber, from which it comes into the anterior chamber to the pupil, then it drained into the trabecular measure. So majority of aqueous humor is drained, 90% in the trabecular outflow, then 10% of aqueous humor is drained from the UV scleral outflow. Then for the treatment of the glaucoma, it should be treated when glaucomatous damage is documented or future damage is likely, because this is a irreversible damage is there. So we should start the treatment at earliest to halt the progression of the disease. So first, best try one drug with least ocular and systemic side effects, which frequency and amount of the medication should be least. And also in case of emergency or non-response to the one drug, we should add another drug or another two drugs for treatment of the glaucoma. So there are various mechanisms by which anti-glaucoma drug acts. So first is the reducing the production of the aqueous humor, that is from the ciliary body, and second is promoting the aqueous drainage from trabecular meshwork and also from the UV scleral outflow. So there are various classes of the anti-glaucoma drugs. First we go for the topical drugs, that is in the form of drops. So first category is beta blockers. There may be timolol, cartilol, betaxolol, levobunolol and metiprolol. Then adrenergic agonists like epinephrine, dapivirine, brimonidine, aprapelin. Then third is prostaglandin analogs, that is latanoprost, bimatoprost, inoproston, etc. Then cholinergic agents like pilocarpine, carbachol. Then last is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, that is dorzolamide and brinzolamide. So another class is systemic anti-glaucoma drugs. There are two categories of systemic anti-glaucoma drugs. First is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors like acetazolamide and methazolamide. Then osmotic agents like glycerin, mannitol and urea. One by one. First category is beta blockers. These are considered to be the first drug of choice for primary open angle glaucoma. So mechanism is it reduces aqueous humor production by the effect on the beta 2 receptor, which are located in the ciliary body epithelium. So there are non-selective and selective beta blockers. So non-selective means it acts on both beta 1 and beta 2 receptors, that are timolol, levobunolol, metiprolol and cartilol. And selective, which acts on beta 1 blocker, the beta 1 receptors, that are betaxolol, pindolol and metoprolol. So as we know the mechanism, that is a reduction in the aqueous secretion, which is by the antagonizing the catecholamines. Beta receptor also located in the heart and lungs, so that should be considered during the treatment of the glaucoma. So topical beta blockers reduces aqueous humor by formation by 24 to 48%. In awake condition, it is ineffective during sleep. So first beta blocker is timolol. It is most commonly used beta blocker. So concentration is 0.25% and 0.5%, and dosing is generally 2 times daily. So it is non-selective beta blocker, which available as the salts of malate and hemihydrate. Its efficacy is it reduces IOP by 20 to 28%, and peak action is around 2 to 3 hours after the installation, and washout occurs at 1 month. Then there are two mechanisms during the treatment of the beta blockers. So first is short-term escape, that is there is marked initial fall in the IOP followed by the transient rise in the IOP. This is known as short-term excess, which is seen with the timolol. Then another entity is long-term drift. This is slow rise in IOP which is controlled for many months with the beta blocker, but after few months there is slow rise in IOP. This is known as long-term drift. Then another beta blocker is cartilol. It is non-selective beta blocker. It is as effective as timolol. Concentration is 1% and dosing is same, that is 2 times daily. Its advantages are it is less stinging and best choice for primary open angle glaucoma with associated hyperlipidemia and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Another beta blocker is levodopa. It reduces IOP by aqueous humor production. So concentration is 0.25 to 0.5% and dosing is once daily. Its action lasts longest, so it is more reliable for once daily dose. So contraindications are cardiac and respiratory disease. So another selective beta blocker is betaxolol. So concentration is 0.25%, dosing is twice daily. It has long-term effect is slightly less than timolol and neobenazole, so it is not preferred over the timolol. In initial therapy, patient with asthma and pulmonary problem, it should be, as timolol is contraindicated, we can use betaxolol in case of asthma and pulmonary problems. So what are the adverse effects of beta blockers? Most important is on cardiovascular and pulmonary, because beta blockers are beta receptors are located in the lungs and heart also. So it acts on the lungs and heart, causing bradycardia, cardiac arrhythmias, hypotension, Raynaud's phenomenon, fluid retention. Then in case of pulmonary, adverse effects are bronchospasm, bronchoconstriction, asthma and dyspnea, that is breathlessness. Another side effects on CNS are amnesia, depression, confusion, headache. On GI, it causes diarrhea and nausea. In miscellaneous, it can cause alopecia, decreased libido and exacerbation of myasthenia gravis. So these were the systemic side effects. Now we go for the ocular side effects. In ocular, there may be allergic blepharoconjunctivitis, then decreased tear film breakup time, which causes dry eyes, and corneal anesthesia, and sometimes uveitis may be precipitated. So this diagram shows the conjunctival hyperemia and congestion due to the allergic blepharoconjunctivitis. So what are the indications of beta blockers? It can be used in various types of glaucoma, such as open angle glaucoma, angle closure glaucoma, secondary glaucomas, and also glaucoma in children. So contraindications are bronchial asthma, severe COPD, bradycardia, severe heart block, and overt cardiac failure, and it should be contraindicated in young children, that is infants. Then second category is adrenergic agonist. So mode of action is it causes decrease in aqueous humor formation, also increase the UL clear outflow. So it acts by dual mechanism. So there are alpha and beta agonists and selective alpha 2 agonists. So first is alpha and beta agonists are epinephrine, ripevirine and phenylephrine, and alpha 2 selective agonists are apraclonidine and brimonidine. So first is epinephrine. So concentration used is 0.5% to 2% drops twice daily. So it is non-selective, acts on alpha and beta both. Then onset is at 1 hour, peak effect occurs at 4 hours, and ocular hypertensive effect lasts for the 72 hours, and it controls IOP by 20 to 25% decrease in the IOP. Second is Dipiorphin. It is actually a prodrug. Its penetration is 17 times more than the epinephrine, and it is better tolerated than epinephrine. So onset is after 30 minutes and peak is after 1 hour. It reduces IOP by 20 to 24%. So concentration used is 0.1%. It is less as compared to the epinephrine. Advantages are it has low cardiovascular side effects and can be used in patients with asthma or intolerant to miotics and those with cataracts. Another adrenergic agonist is phenylephrine. It is used in concentration of 0.125 to 0.10 percentage. Acts on selectively alpha 1 receptors. So mechanism is it causes vasoconstriction and mydriasis and also breaks the posterior synaptic formation. It can produce mydriasis even in patient treated with the miotics. So it is stronger mydriatic. Another is apraglutide. It is selective alpha 2 agonist used in concentration of 1% to 5%. It is the derivative of the clonidine. So it controls IOP by 20% to 30%. So maximal effect occurs at 3 to 5 hours. It is not used as a primary treatment due to the significant tachyphylaxis, that is decrease in the effect once we use for long term. It is mainly indicated in acute pressure spikes in case of procedures like laser iridotomy, trabeculoplasty and posterior capsulotomy. Another most important adrenergic agonist is brimonidine. It has small effect on UV scleral outflow but acts on the aqueous humor production. It has also advantage of the neuroprotection and reduces IOP by 20 to 30%. So concentration is 0.2% used in tartrate form. Its dosage is BID or TID, that is twice or thrice daily. Advantages are it can be used in primary drug as a primary open angle glaucoma. It has less tachyphylaxis and less rate of allergic reactions. So side effects of the adrenergic agonists are ocular side effects and systemic. First, ocular is stinging or pricking sensation, then brow ache, conjunctival hyperemia, allergic reactions, macular edema, mydriasis, and in systemic side effects are systemic hypertension and palpitation. So it is contraindication in severe hypertension, cardiac disease and thyrotoxicosis. So this diagram shows the allergic reaction to the. Then third category is cholinergic drugs. So it acts by the mechanisms of meiosis, which causes contraction of the iris sphincter. Then it causes opening of the trabecular meshwork by facilitating the aqueous outflow. Also it causes accommodation. So there may be direct acting and indirect acting. Direct acting activate cholinergic receptor directly, and indirect there is indirect acting like cholinesterase inhibitor, which primarily inhibit the cholinesterase and thereby increasing the amount of the acetylcholine. So first is pilocarpine. It is derived from the plant Pilocarpus microphyllus. It reduces IOP by 15 to 25%. Peak occurs at 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Then it affects to up to 6 to 8 hours. So it is present in the available in the concentration of 0.25% to 10% drops. Also it is available in gel format, 4% gel, and Ocicert. It is a long acting biodegradable in the dose of 20 to 40 microhours per hour. Another cholinergic drugs are carbachol and physostigmine. Carbachol is available in 0.75 to 3%. Dosing is 3 times a day. Physostigmine is 0.25% to 0.5%. So indications of cholinergic drug are acute and chronic narrow angle glaucoma, then open angle glaucomas. Also it is used for the prophylaxis of the primary angle closure glaucoma until we perform the peripheral iridectomy. In side effects, there are various ocular side effects like accommodative spasm, then miosis, that is constriction of the pupil, then follicular conjunctivitis, allergy, then pupillary block in case of secondary angle closure glaucoma, then allergic blepharoconjunctivitis. Also, rarely it may cause retinal detachment, anterior capsular cataract, and iris cyst formation. Systemic side effects are marked salivation, profuse perspiration, and diarrhea. Also, other side effects like anxiety, systemic hypertension, bradycardia, muscular weakness, and scoline apnea. Scoline apnea is generally seen in if patient is predisposed to general anesthesia with then cholinergic drugs. Contraindications are if there is presence of cataract, patient younger than the 40 years of age. It cannot be used in neovascular and uveitic glaucoma, and there is history of retinal detachment. In case of high myopes, we cannot use the cholinergic drugs. It progresses the myopia. Also, in case of hypersensitivity of drug, it should be contraindicated. And fourth category is prostaglandin analogs. These are the actually mediators of the inflammatory response. These are the products which converted into the active compound by corneal esterases. Mechanism is it increases the UV scleral outflow. Actually, it stimulates the collagenase and metalloproteinase to degrade the extracellular matrix between the ciliary muscle, which turns lead to the reduction of the hydraulic resistance to the UV scleral flow and increases the UV scleral outflow. So first PG analog is latanoprost. It is used in the 0.005% drops and dosing is once daily. It reduces the IOP by 27 to 30% and peak occurs at 10 to 14 hours and maximum effect is usually by 4 to 6 weeks. Latanoprost is less effective in lowering IOP in children than adults. Then another PG analog is travoprost. Concentration is 0.004% and once daily dosing is done at evening. It reduces IOP by 27 to 33% and maximum effect is within 2 weeks. Then third is bimetoprost. Concentration is 0.03% and dosing is once daily. It is actually a prostamide analog. It has better IOP control than latanoprost and maximum effect occurs within 1 to 2 weeks. So prostaglandin analogs are nowadays considered as first line of drug if patient is affording, because beta blockers has many more side effects than PG analogs. So PG analogs can be used as a first line drug, but they are costlier. So indications are it can be used various types of glaucoma like primary open angle glaucoma, normal tension glaucoma, chronic angle closure glaucoma, pigment dispersion syndrome, exfoliation glaucoma. So contraindications are allergy to the drugs, then it cannot be used in case of pregnancy and nursing mother, children. Then in case of uveitis, it may precipitate or flare up the uveitis, so it cannot be used in uveitic glaucoma. Also, it cannot be used in immediate post-operative period because it causes increase in the inflammation. Also, it cannot be used in healed or active keratitis by herpes simplex. In ocular side effects, we know as it causes corneal erosions, then conjunctival hyperemia. Most important is causes eyelash lengthening and thickening and hyperpigmentation of the eyelash. Also, iris hyperpigmentation occurs, which is irreversible. It can also cause periocular skin hyperpigmentation, cystoid macular edema after cataract surgery. Also, there is anterior allergic reaction to the drugs can occur and anterior uveitis may be precipitated. Systemic side effects are occasional headaches, then skin rash and upper respiratory tract infections. So advantages of the PG analogs are it is dosing is once daily and it has lack of cardiopulmonary side effects, and it can be additive to the another anti-glaucoma. So another drug is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. It acts by the mechanism of inhibiting the carbonic anhydrate enzyme that reduces the aqueous humor production and lowers the IOP. So carbonic anhydrase inhibitor may be topical and also systemic. So systemic are acetazolamide, methazolamide, ethoxyzolamide and dichlorphenamide. And topicals are dorzolamide, brinzolamide and lodoxamide. First we go for the acetazolamide. It comes in oral or IV preparations. It reduces IOP by 15 to 20%. And peak occurs for oral it is 2 to 4 hours and IV for after 30 minutes. Washout is generally 12 hours after oral and 4 hours after IV installation. For oral we can use 250 mg tablets or 125 milligram tablets 6 hourly. Also it comes in the sustained release preparations. IV preparation dosing is 500 mg. So topical carbonic anhydrase inhibitors are dorzolamide and brinzolamide. Dorzolamide used as a 2% and brinzolamide as 1%. It reduces IOP by 15 to 20%. And peak occurs at 2 to 3 hours and washout is at after 10 to 18 hours. Dosing is generally 2 to 3 times daily. So carbonic anhydrase inhibitor causes ocular side effects like it induces myopia, and stinging sensation, keratitis, conjunctivitis and dermatitis. Most important is side effects of systemic side effects of the oral or oral acetazolamide tablets is it causes numbness and tingling of the extremities and perioral region and metallic taste. Also it can cause fatigue, malaise, weight loss and gastrointestinal irritations. Most important is hypokalemia, that is it reduces the level of the potassium. Also it causes renal calculi formation, blood discases and dermatitis. So contraindications are patient with the known hypersensitivity to the sulfonamide in case of pregnancy and in case of liver or kidney disease. So another class is hyperosmotic agents. There are IV formations and oral preparations. So in IV there are mannitol and urea. In oral preparations are glycerol and isosulfite. So it acts by the increasing the tonicity of the plasma. So osmotic gradient is created between the blood and vitreous. So it drawn out the water from the vitreous to the blood and reduces the IOP. So first is mannitol. It is used as IV preparation. It comes in 20% of solution. Dose is 1 to 2 gram per kg, which is given over 20 minutes. Onset is 15 to 30 minutes. Peak occurs at 30 to 60 minutes and lasts for 6 hours. Oral preparations are glycerol, that is comes in 50% solutions and dose is 1 gram per kg. Onset is at 20 minutes and peak hours at 45 minutes to 2 hours and duration is 4 to 5 hours. It should be cautiously used in case of diabetics because it increases the blood sugar level. So another is oral preparation is isosorbide. It comes in 45% solutions. Dose is 1.5 to 4 ml per kg. So side effects are, first is cardiovascular system side effects. First is hypertension. It can cause hypertension and heart failure, congestive heart failure. Then renal side effects are it can cause diuresis and electrolyte imbalance. Other are it causes dehydration, dry mouth, headache. Glycerol increases the blood sugar level and may cause diabetic ketoacidosis. So this is all about the anti-glaucoma drugs. So in the summary, for open angle glaucoma we can use beta blockers, miotic drugs, alpha adrenergic agonists, carbonic anhydrase inhibitors and prostaglandins. For angle closure, combination of the vigorous therapy is employed. First is beta blockers, myotics like pilocarpine. Hypertonic mannitol is most important because it reduces the IOP within few minutes. Then we can go for the another anti-glaucoma drugs like acetazolamide and apraclorinide. So mode of action of various anti-glaucoma drugs: beta blocker decreases aqueous secretion, miotics increases the trabecular outflow, adrenergic agonist decreases the aqueous secretion, also it acts on the uvascular outflow. Then PG analogs cause increase in the trabecular and uvascular outflow. Carbonic anhydrase inhibitor causes decrease in the aqueous secretion. Thank you.